control.
What's up guys? Today we've got a nice back and biceps video. Now this video should be uploaded after the update slash announcement video, and if you haven't seen that, please go watch that because there's some important stuff I guess that's been said in that, and there's no point me repeating it because I already uploaded a video on it. So yeah, let's just move straight into it. First exercise was hyperextensions. Now when it comes to hyperextensions, the reason we're doing this is to substitute deadlifts because I can't deadlift at the moment and I'm laying off deadlift for quite a bit, so there'll be no deadlifts on the channel for quite a bit unfortunately, but when it's back it's going to be back properly. Anyway, the way we do hyperextensions is we start off with that as the first exercise, and that's how we do two warm-ups, one body weight and one with one of the balls. With the body weight one, we like to keep it slow and controlled. That way we know exactly where we're squeezing, and a lot of the time if you're not doing slowly you will hurt yourself because you tend to go past 90 degrees or just before and it always ends up hurting you. But anyway, the way I like to do it is go 90 degrees and then come back up really slowly on the warm-ups, and then for the rest I usually just blast it up and squeeze my glutes at the same time, which gives me the power to be able to come out of the bottom really fast. Now we started off with the 10, and the way we do it is we get the little bean bags, put on, and we hold that to our chest. Now the main thing that I'm happy about is that I was able to show it in the video how we hold it, because the way to add more weight is harder because if you use one of the 20 kg plates, your elbows are more flared out because of how wide it is, and you end up hitting the side of the machine, well in our one anyway, so that's why I prefer to do it with the ball because it keeps my elbows narrower. So that's something that's probably unique to our gym, but it's a good way to add weight on as well because you can hold it close to your chest and it doesn't fall off. We did 4 sets of that. Now we went up to 20 I believe as the heaviest set this time. I am trying to go heavier than that, but in that range of motion and in that exercise it's much harder to do than, say for example, on a deadlift where you can overload your back so much more, as well as rack pulls which would overload your back so much more. But again, this one's a bit more of a controlled movement, so there's that part to think about as well. So it does have its benefits as well as downsides. But yeah, that was basically our first exercise. Then we moved on to single arm lat pull down, and we decided to switch up again and use the close grip on single arm lat pull down this time. Usually what we do is we do wide on the single arm lat pull down, but this time we decided to close, and always using the hook grip as well. So we don't put our thumbs over the top unless it's too heavy and we can't hold on anymore, at which point we have to. But yeah, so we started off with that. We did 5 sets of that. Now the reason why we do 4 sets on some and 5 sets on the others, when the weight gets too heavy, the amount of reps that we do drops down, and in turn we add another set onto that to be able to get the same volume as we would have with 4 sets of 12 to 15 for example. The first weight I did was 35, and I'm pretty certain I got 12 to 15 of that, and I moved up to 40s and 45, and then I end up doing 2 drop sets, well not drop sets but like back off sets after that. Reason being what I just said, to try and get the same amount of volume in and make sure our lats grow way wider, and that way we don't skip out on any volume to try and gain strength. That is pretty much the principle of power building in my mind, where I don't focus on either one. I just want to focus on both at the same time and try and gain strength as well as size at the same time. But yeah, single arm lat pull down close grip works really well, if you can tell by the clip. It felt really nice to squeeze with this close grip because usually that's the last thing that we do and we're always fatigued at that point, so it's good to switch it up every once in a while. Straight after that we moved to the wide grip lat pull down. Now misconception that is usually thought is the wider you go the wider your lats are gonna get. Now that is really not true, and if you keep the wide grip you don't have to go crazy wide to the point where you're struggling to pull it down. If you go wide enough that you start feeling it on your outer lat, one does not lat, but you'll know what I'm saying if you have the mind muscle connection there. If you squeeze it right, it's the same thing, and that's why I've started doing a neutral grip, like literally right at where the crease is in the bar, and I feel like that works my lat perfectly, as well as I can do much heavier weight, thus overloading my muscle even more. And on that exercise as well, we like to do 12 to 15 reps, and we like to go as heavy as we can. This one, we did 4 sets, but that was because we didn't feel like we lacked any volume, and the weight was heavy enough that our lats were dead by the end of that. And we had more lats coming up anyway, so we only did 4 sets of that, and the volume was okay after just doing close grip lats. So our lats were pretty dead at that point anyway, because we literally pretty much just did back-to-back lats. A thing that I like to do is switch up the exercises, so that I do one part of my back first, then I do another one. There's the other group of your back, which is for the rows, and then I move back to lats, which is exactly what we did, because we moved on to the close grip rows. Now with close grip rows, we decided to switch up again and try a new machine. Well, not a new machine, but like a switch up where we do the thing. And we did it on a cable one, and cable machine ones, should we say. And it felt pretty good, to be honest. The lighting was literally right on top of us, so it was kind of messed up. But it felt really good to be able to squeeze on that machine, as well as the weight felt so nice and smooth. Because on the other machine, it feels really like it's grinding. I don't know how to explain it, but you can just feel it through the bar. And I really like this one because it feels so much nicer on your back, and you get to squeeze so nicely. So after 4 sets of close grip rows, we moved on to reverse lats. With reverse lats, it's probably the hardest exercise to do for lats, and as well as the most rewarding in terms of the way you feel it. We did 4 sets of that because that's all I can ever manage with that. But I did drop set the last one. I'm not sure if I got it on camera, but I know that I dropped set the last one. But basically doing shoulder width apart, reverse lats. Try not to hook it, but you can on this one because it's a bit harder because of thumb mobility, as well as it just depends on the size of your hands. But yeah, reverse lat pull down feels really good because you can squeeze your lat in a whole different way to every other lat exercise, and it's one of the most crucial exercises in my opinion for growing your lats, because before I started doing that, my lats were not growing that much, to be honest, and then when I started doing that, that was what made my lats probably one of my best features in my mind. So I'd say reverse lats is one of the best exercises for lats, and 4 sets of that, changing the weight. I like to try and keep the weight a bit lighter with that, because 12 to 15 reps is so much harder with when it comes to the reverse one. As you can see, I like to have a day where it's lat dominant and then a day where it's row dominant. I haven't done the row dominant one. I haven't shown the row dominant one, I don't think. But next one's going to be a row dominant workout. Literally, basically, after the reverse lats, we moved on to wide rows to try and rest our lats because we've got still more lats to do. So wide rows on a lying machine where your chest is rested. So you're purely working your back. You have no other way. You don't have another cheating system, should I say? Because when you're doing bent over rows, you can cheat it up, whereas when your chest is resting on something, you don't really have a method of cheating it if you're not trying to at all. But you can control it way more and squeeze it at the top way more, and it feels so great to be able to squeeze and stretch on a rested machine exercise. Yeah, but it's free weight at the same time, so it's best of both worlds. But that was pretty much the wide rows, and we did 4 sets of that, increasing the weight, progressive overload. We moved on to this thing, if you remember the chest day where I did the pullovers, this is pretty much the same thing, whereas you're using the bar, so your hands are a bit wider out, and you pull down and you squeeze your lat at the bottom. So you tuck your bum out a little bit, and then you bring it down and you squeeze your lat at the bottom. And the squeeze is so different. You can feel a whole different squeeze because your arms are at a different angle, as well as you're coming fully down. You can do it with a rope, a different angle as well, but I've never tried that. I might try that next time. But pretty much this exercise is my finisher exercise for lats, as well as I usually do it as a superset with some of the lat exercises, and it makes it so much harder because you're burning your lats twice in a row. But this exercise feels so good when everything's fatigued already, so that's why I like to keep it to the end or on a superset. That way it's already been worked out and you're just adding extra to it and adding more volume to your lats to try and grow them a bit wider. I feel like it hits a portion of my lats that I don't hit with anything else. That's why I like to do this exercise, and I always throw it in every session that I do. Pretty much for biceps, all we did was straight bar curls on the cables to keep constant tension on the muscle, as well as having a different exercise rather than barbell every week. Another option was going to be to do supinating curls sitting down and then standing up and finishing off, but I decided to do that for the hammerhead curl instead. And oh, well, hammer curls, sorry. I was thinking of a shot. But yeah, so we did hammer curls sitting down and stood up and carried it on after burning out the other head already. So we pretty much just did the bar curl and the hammer curls, and that's pretty much all. That's hitting the two heads of the biceps there. And considering I'm doing arms pretty much every day, I feel like it's helping me a lot, and I've seen a growth in my arms, as well as with measurements I've definitely seen a growth in my arms. And when it comes to my weight, it seems like my weight hasn't really been going up that much, but measurements have. So it feels like my body's recompositioning, which basically is growing, but it's just changing and not gaining weight pretty much. So we'll see how the bulk keeps going. I don't know if I'm going to keep tracking the weight as regularly because it hasn't really been that much of a change yet, and I feel like it takes a few weeks for your like consistent bulk to actually kick in. So we'll see how it goes in maybe a week or two, and right before Ramzan we'll definitely have a weigh-in and have everyday weigh-ins during Ramzan, because that's going to be daily vlogs, so watch out for that. Next episode is going to be the shoulders and traps workout, and yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thank you for watching. Rate and subscribe and share the video with whoever you think may care.